Oki, Nixokoaxi, Netaniku. Hello, friends and relatives. My name is Joseph Arnaud. I am here with WARPONYBMX, and yeah, this is our second segment. We did our first segment with May Skateboards and Victor Corpus, so this is our second one. We're gonna invite Michigan Local to come on, one of my old friends, Andrew Sneller, and so yeah, just real quick, want to say what War Pony's about. We are an indigenous Native American, I guess, bike group, bike company, bike brand community that just representing indigenous native BMX here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and nationwide or wherever really. But yeah, we make t-shirts. We also make some stickers too. So the link for these are in the bio. Just look in the bio. But yeah, let's invite Michigan Local on here real quick. Okay. So thank you everybody for joining us for our second round. Okay. Cool. I think they joined.
Hey.
What's up?
What's up, man?
How's it going?
Good. How you doing, brother?
Good to see you. Yeah. Oh, got a little sticky there, but yeah, man. It's good to see you. I know we had talked a few nights ago. You said the tree had knocked your line out and the power went down, and it was crazy, man. Because today in Albuquerque, the winds were all nuts, and freaking our power went out for about 3 or 4 hours here, and
Oh, really?
I was trying to conserve the battery. I was like, oh man, I gotta hold out till 7, but electricity came back on, so we're all good. So
Nice.
yeah, but
Yeah. I turned off the lights and turned on the lamp just for nostalgia purposes from the other night.
yeah, right. Well, shoot, man, it's great to have you. Have Michigan Local on the part of the interview. Plus, me and you go back to when we were in high school, and just beginning days of starting riding BMX bikes. So,
Yeah, man.
yeah. Let me see what it's. We're about 5'2", and I guess before we get started, if just I guess what you've been up to as far as BMX lately.
BMX, as far as lately, this weekend I actually got to go down to Ohio with some dudes, and got to stretch the legs a little bit, and it was good weekend away. Yeah, we checked out Mike's Bike Park over in Dayton, Ohio, and
Nice.
just, Ohio's got a pretty cool riding scene for like bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty neat just to reconnect with everyone and just hear more stories from guys, and I got to meet some new guys and just reminisce with guys that we've been riding with for a long time. So it was cool to just reconnect and hear stories of why people got into it and who they met, like when they first got into it, and it's just been cool.
For sure. I think, I mean, I know over the years, there's probably been many trips taken out of state, and just, remember back in the day we went to Louisville, Kentucky. We used to do that, and remember one time went with Big Al, and we went to Indianapolis, and yeah, it's interesting getting outside of Michigan and kind of scoping out other scenes and just what's out there, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see it. It's just good to see. It's it's the same community, always just different places, and you can pick up, and it's cool to just kind of vibe with people from different states, just because you all have that common bond and everything, you know?
Definitely, definitely. The bike riding, BMX, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, shoot, man. I guess let me see here. We're about almost on time. I'm just gonna get started and jump right into it, man. And start with the questions, and yeah, thank you for coming on as Michigan local. We've known each other for years growing up riding, and kind of more recently have been doing our own thing. But I always, have seen you doing out there, doing the screen printing and other things. So definitely thank you for that.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
but I guess first question, just getting back to the basics. When did you start riding BMX bikes? Like when was I guess back in your memories, like back in the teenage years, what was that like first starting out and reminiscing on old memories?
Well, I was actually first first time I actually was like really introduced to BMX was I was rollerblading at the time with Eric Reitzel. You remember
Oh
Reitzel?
yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
in middle school, we were skating, and like right around that time, we were kind of doing that. And then my dad ended up taking me to a Schwinn show in like '99, you know, and they had those Schwinn shows that were coming to the bike shop there, and got to see like pro BMX for the first time. Like a lot, like, oh, people are doing this like in my hometown, you know, and going down to the skate park, it was all still like wood ramps down at old like Ninth and Columbia, you know, and they still just had like the wood ramps there, and I remember skating there one day and going across the street to Hope College, and actually Eric Nyland was across the street. He was doing that gap to ledge,
Yeah,
that little rail with like the ledge going down like in the alleyway right there. And
yeah, yeah,
Eric Nyland was actually one of the first dudes like locally that I saw uh, riding BMX, and like Rob Bain was there, and I think Mike Kuka, and
yeah,
some of those dudes. And but yeah, I mean, I was still on skates, and I saw Eric gap to feebling that ledge down there. I was like, dude, this is tight, man. Like people are doing this in our town. And I remember I was like, well, I can either keep skating or I can get a bike. And my parents were getting a divorce at the time, and um, I remember like I was gonna have to commute between houses, and that's when my dad got my that place over right there by the Mott's where you were living. And
yeah, yeah,
so when he moved over there, I was like, well, it just makes sense to get a bike. And so that summer, I or like that winter, I ended up saving up money, and that's when I got my first bike. I got that 2000 like Viper Diamondback, all chromed out, like thread on pegs and everything like that. And
yeah,
yeah, that was my first kind of bike that I got, and I was like, well, it's going to help me commute, and it's going to get me between houses. And like during that time, riding between houses, and kind of being interested in like biking and BMX and like the skate park scene and stuff like that, just like going fast and um, just hitting curbs and doing that kind of stuff. Like that's kind of where I fell in love with BMX, man.
yeah, yeah. Totally, man. You brought back some memories, telling some stories, especially with Eric doing that gap to feeble. 'Cause I remember that, especially like Tuca, Martinez, Richter, all those guys back in the day, kind of like leading the way with BMX and in Holland and Michigan. And so yeah, dude, that was dope. Yeah, I remember that. Remember that. You know, but shoot, man, reminds me of why I got into it too. Is like, wasn't necessary. I mean, it was cool to see tricks and stuff, but at the time I had some friends who, they just did it, and so I got like a dyno, got some kind of dyno at the time, from Schwinn, and this was commuting as well before we got cars and stuff. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Schwinn too, because just at the skate park like a couple days ago, somebody was riding like this old school Schwinn Predator, like looked like the automatic, had the V brakes, you know, like the ones they used to have in Schwinn. And I was like, dang man, that's like back when when we first started. So
yeah, that frame that Reitzel ended up buying, he ended up getting that Schwinn Predator, and I remember he had
that's right.
He had that like oversized like sprocket on it. It was like 3/16, like that Schwinn sprocket, and I remember him like sprocket sawing rocks and shit on it, like just full force slamming into that. Like it was just era
disasters.
Yeah. But
dang man, yeah, those disasters. I was thinking, shoot man, like now seeing people, they got the whole sprocket guard on there, and like I'm thinking about trying some disasters. I just don't want to snap the chain. But yeah man, good stuff. Definitely good times. Well, I'm gonna move on. Let's go to the second question here. I guess growing up, who was some of the inspiration or motivation in BMX? Both, I guess you could say, friends and professional riders. You know, because there's a little bit of both, but whatever comes to mind.
Yeah, it was definitely friends. It was definitely seeing the guys that were doing it around us. Like, you know, after seeing that Schwinn show, like Jay Eggleston and Sean Peters and Koji Kraft and like, you know, that Schwinn team that came through, you know, seeing them shred, and then, you know, seeing guys like Nyland and Andy Richter and, you know, just Joe Weaver and Matt Matt, you know, just all those old school dudes that were riding, and just seeing that locally, it was cool. And just being able to go to the skate park, ride with guys that were doing it, that was really cool. And you know, meeting or like right at like high school, I ended up having a class with Orlando Pena, and and he started giving me BMX videos back in the day, and like seeing, you know, watching Nowhere Fast, and just seeing some of those.
That's a classic,
dude, for sure. Yeah. Like seeing Dave.
A classic. Dave Young's part.
Part in that, killing it to like some Slayer, and that got me stoked. And then Sean, like SM4, what was it? Sean
McKinney.
Sean McKinney's part.
Sean McKinney.
Dude, that song, like Dopes to Infinity. I used to throw that on before my day and get stoked for the day, dude. Like I did. There wasn't a whole lot I was super excited about. I wasn't excited about school, but I was excited about like getting together with my friends after school and going riding. And it was like, and then I'd throw that part on in the morning, dude, and just like jam out and watch that, and his like free spirit in that video, and like just jamming and like doing the flatland and like street, and just like the carefree attitude that he had during that part. That just resonated with me, you know, and just to the song part and everything. Just like the music, the vibe, everything to that video part. That's probably what resonates most as far as like BMX in my head, you know. And then like FBM All Time Low, or not, at the intro to that with like Beetlejuice, like FBM motherfuckers, with like some DMX and all that, you know.
Right. Yeah. Oh man. Fire Baron Mayhem. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember people. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying those parts. Those are the main parts that resonate with me. Like those three videos, especially. You know.
Yeah. I hear you, man. Yeah. Some of those like those old school VHS tapes, or even in getting into DVD was you know, a little more later on, but that's like shoot, just drawing inspiration from that. I hear you, man. Like as soon as like the newest props or something came out, we'd be getting it down at Schwinn or whatever they had in there, and S&M4 for sure. That was a solid classic. I remember being there. One of the first videos I got as well. Definitely.
A kid.
Yeah. And then shit, man. Orlando Pena with Nowhere Fast. That that was great. As like you know, definitely back when. I know. I think we used to call things underground. You know, things were a little bit more behind the scenes in that way. But
Yeah. Had secret spots.
Yeah.
Everyone had their spots around town. They're like, "Oh, we can't take you there, dog. We can't take you
Right.
there. We got secret spots."
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, well, Holland was a small town. I mean, it is a smaller town, but I mean, we had to get creative, huh? Get creative with some street riding.
yeah, it was great, dude. I remember back to those times in high school, and especially like after my parents split and being able to ride with you, and you know, because you were just down the road, and
Yeah.
you know, just that South Washington area and the little green rails, you know, right there at the, like, I think now it's like a tanning place, or it was a tanning place, but Skip's Pharmacy,
Yeah. Yeah.
by the hospital there, like all those spots that we used to ride, dude, just grabbing a pie, like watching a
Yeah.
BMX, and like those are some pretty fond memories yet for me.
Definitely. Definitely. I remember like just riding around that area, and one of my favorite spots is, I mean, back in the day was Holland Christian, how it was set up, and those ledges, just you know, just learning, you know, different grinds and manual combinations and things like that. It was definitely, I guess you know, the building bricks that got us to where, you know, just a part of our childhood in a way. So.
Okay.
I'm going to move on to question 3 here. Let's see. Well, shoot, man. We kind of already just touched on this. I was going to ask, what are some of your favorite memories well, I guess, and/or eras of BMX? And I guess if there's anything you could think about specifically outside of, you know, like us as youth, but like as part of like the professional BMX world, like what was going down, you know, back around early 2000s, you know, kind of I don't know what, I mean, I've heard old school, but then now I'm hearing about like this mid school, and I feel like we're like the, you know, kind of that era versus like, you know, what's going on now. So.
Yeah, I definitely feel like more we were the mid school era compared to, you know, old school, like, you know,
Yeah.
racing early on, but what was the question? I'm sorry.
Well, I was just saying, like, I guess thinking back to like certain eras of BMX, you know, back to like when watching videos, what kind of sticks out the most to you, you know? I guess, I mean, it could even be related to like some of the tricks you were learning at the time. You know, maybe you were advancing. I remember, dude, like you doing some crazy ass ice pick stalls on those Holland quarters that were barely even vert, and throwing some no footers in there and stuff. And I don't know, that was like,
That was a lot.
for me. I can't do. What's
That, I feel like that was a lot later.
Yeah. Well.
Like down, like as I was like actually getting some bike control and stuff, because early on, like I remember the progression. Like everyone else, I felt like was progressing so much more at the time, and like I feel like I was kind of a late bloomer, and like especially with the guys that I started riding with, like Eric Reitzel and Josh Follett and AJ Vonens. Like those were the 4 guys that like I started riding with in that area, and you know, Eric was progressing so quick. I mean, I remember him peebling down the Hope rail on Max bike, dude, like on a completely bike, and he was trying the Hope rail like I can't even remember. It was a flat rail, but it was down like what 15 stairs or something like that, and he ended
Yeah,
up
yeah.
not hit, I forgot, his bike ended up breaking, and so he jumped on Mac's bike, which was like a longer head tube and everything, and then he ended up jumping on Mac's bike, ended up feebling down the rail and like lacing the thing, and it was like I don't even think I could hop over a 2x4 at the time, like laying on side. It was just
Yeah.
crazy seeing some of the progression of. That's why I like looked up to so many of those dudes like that I rode with, you know, like that was BMX to me, like
Yeah.
the guys that I surrounded myself with, and those are the guys that pushed me, you know. Videos were cool, but it was always the scene that we were with and just the people I got to ride with. I mean, those are the pushing me.
Totally. Yeah, yeah. I hear you, man. I remember, you know, when I first met you all, like you said, you, Follett, Reitzel, AJ, you know, I think at the time I was riding more with Orlando and, you know, Mac at
Dude,
the time too. Yeah, David, Hooter, shoot, I'm trying to think who else at the time, but, you know, even before riding with Eric and Kevin Palmer and Richter. But I remember hearing about that, man, Reitzel doing that. It was a pretty good sized rail. I mean, Richter was doing that rail, and like Richter was like, you know, the best in the city at the, you know, I mean, he would be doing some backflips and stuff, but I remember Reitzel was doing some gnarly stuff too, man, for just starting riding, you know, and it's cool you bring up, you know, like, because you guys do, you know, you're Michigan local, and what you represent is, you know, the community there, and so, you know, just getting back to like the homies who are around us, you know, that inspired us, and you know, I definitely feel that with without you guys, you know, in my life, you know, I probably wouldn't be to the level of riding that I ever got to, just because you know, you guys were we all definitely inspired each other, motivated each other. You know, it felt like we were you know, I don't know. We were just up. I remember trying to make a scene up there and having a good time. So yeah,
yeah, a lot of good memories, man. Like the old Park Dog video. I mean, that was,
yeah,
those times
yeah,
will resonate forever, you know.
definitely. Yeah, it'd be cool to get that out there. That's shoot, that's when we were like freshmen, sophomores, pretty young guys there. I remember. Shoot. Yeah. Well, let me move on here to the next question. Um, I guess kind of touched upon this earlier, talked about it when we first started, but what does the current BMX scene look like in Michigan, and I guess particularly West Michigan, or you know, if you know more what's going on out towards Detroit, or you know, east side or north, you know, because it's been years, it's been probably a decade plus now since I've been out there, and I mean, we've always kind of just kept to our area, but I know there's pockets of bikers everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, I was just out East Coast not too long ago. I mean, Albies, like they they rented out Modern for the bike community,
nice.
and that was an awesome time. Like Flip ended up renting it out, and yeah, it was just a great session. I mean, there was like 100+ bikers there, and that session got me stoked on riding again. Like I had talked to you know, just messaging back and forth, and it's like, man, I just different times and seasons and life and where you're at, and you know, relevance, and um, just whether or not you think you're gonna keep going or things like that. And like you go out and you have a session like that again with a bunch of people, and like it just ignites that like spark again, you know. And that was really cool. Like we went out there to go hang out with Pedro because he's living out there now, and
Right on.
just to go kind of see him and go have a sesh, and it ended up just being a great time. And but yeah, East Coast, like East Coast Michigan, like they got a really good bike scene as far as like outdoor, indoor parks. West Michigan definitely. We got some outdoor parks like Plaza Style, things like that. And as far as indoor, it's a little kind of lacking. Battlegrounds, we got Battleground Skate Park over in Battle Creek. But you know, not a whole lot on as far as indoor parks on West Coast. But
Right on. Yeah, because I know I've been to that Modern out in towards the east side of Michigan, and
yeah, really.
that was a dope park, man.
Dude, so
I went there once. Yeah, it's pretty big. It's pretty decent.
yeah.
And then I was gonna say, man, I wish we still, or y'all still had the Modern in the mall there over in Grand Rapids, because I remember just having crazy sessions there. You know, that was the place to go in the winter.
Yeah. And that was like that common just meetup point. Like you didn't have to hit people up. You just, you know, it was just a 2 hour, like a 3 hour time slot, Tuesdays and Thursdays, man. And that's just where you figured if you were going to ride, that's where you're going to be, you know, in this area. And, I mean, everyone just that wanted to be there was going to be there, especially in the, you know, the winter months and the off season, like as far as like street riding and things like that. I mean, that was the go-to spot on the west side.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you know, it's a little different because of the winter being up, you know, up north, and then it's snowing part of the year, and it's just makes things a little bit trickier as far as getting a session in. And let me see here. That was gonna be my next question, is like, you know, the thoughts on indoor and outdoor parks, because I'll be honest, man, down here I haven't really. There's maybe like 2 indoor parks I know about. There's one in Santa Fe, and then there's one here in Albuquerque downtown. But other than that, we're all outdoor parks, because most of the year it's sunny here. And but yeah, I remember a few, you know, indoor parks back in the day over in Michigan. It's like a little one that started up in Grand Rapids for a minute there, in between kind of like Grand Haven. Real small, real tight. Had a nice mini in it. And then that one that opened up out there by Zealand. Do you remember that one? It had a dirt track in it. What was it?
Big Town, USA.
Yeah. That was pretty dope, man. That was like, those ramps were a decent size.
Yeah, that would
remember
that was like post-modern and just slightly. But that, yeah, if that would have been able to stick around, that would have been an awesome indoor spot for a lot of years. But unfortunately, that just didn't work out. But yeah, we tried to like revive the ramps, like outside for a while. We took some of those ramps, revived them outside, and then later on, some of those ramps got moved to I think it was Byron Center, or like Grand Rapids area, like just before Grand Rapids area. I forgot. Granville. I think it was Granville, like sports complex. They ended up having like an ice rink there, and they had like a little skate park.
Yeah.
But like some of the ramps got there for a while, and you know, it allowed for some future sessions after that place like stopped. But yeah, I just wish, it always seemed like the management or like with Modern, when they had it, it was too segregated. You know, the sessions, they were too picky and choosy. It's like, well, if you got a community that wants to go shred, allow them to utilize the space, and that'll pay your bills. You know, to stay open, to pay for the overhead, and to allow that stuff. And you know, yeah, not everyone wants to always like skate or ride at the same time, but you know, skate parks, look at all public skate parks. You know, everyone kind of has to feel the vibe and like respect each other's, their skate park etiquette. when you go to places, and you watch out for each other. And I understand like littler kids and older guys, that have been in it a little bit longer, but it's definitely not a daycare. You don't drop your kids off and expect people to just take care of your kids at a skate park. But you know I think if skate parks were a little bit more involved with like BMX, skate, even scooters, whatever, rollerbladers, things like that, I think um, the longevity of indoor parks in this area would be a lot greater. But they're having a 2-hour time slot on a Tuesday or a Thursday, and it's not allowing guys to ride the rest of the week. Stuff like that. Like when Modern was doing that, that doesn't really. When you got a target market and you're cutting out a big portion of that, and just segregating certain time slots, from a business standpoint, that just doesn't work.
Totally. Yeah, man. I remember that we only had a certain amount of time, and you bring up a good point too. Is like just the whole kind of like the I don't know that duality, the like you're saying segregation of like different sports, and like not being able to kind of like get together and just because I know as bikers, as skaters and other individuals who go to the skate park, we know what the deal is. We usually go there and we know got to be careful, watch your surroundings. That's kind of the name of the game. And I think it's like you're saying, some folks who may not fully understand that aspect and think it has to be a certain way. I mean, I remember even like with Holland Skate Park back in the day when we first started. We'd always get chased out by the skateboarders, and it was very much I don't know. We were like turned against each other when really it's like we should all be on the same side, because it's a shared mutual space that we're all just trying to be artistic in, just express ourselves anyhow.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, yeah, it's because that's interesting to hear. Because the guy. Victor, on the last time, Maze, he brought up indoor parks to me one time, and I was like, yeah, man, there's not much around here, but back home, especially winter months, it's a necessity if you wanna, you just get some energy out, get on the bike type, that type of thing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Like Battlegrounds, I mean, it's really cool that spots like that around this area. That's ran by, I think, a church, and for them to be thriving for quite a few years now and be able to have that for the community, it's cool. There's still some people pushing on this side of the state for that. After going to Ohio this past weekend, what they're doing for the bike community down there, with indoor places. I mean, they got Ray's Bike Park. They got this place called Mike's that we visited this past weekend, and they just all these outdoor pump tracks and all this stuff. Like I think like mountain bikes and big bikes, they've really helped out with outdoor spaces, because it's more family oriented. It's not like street style where BMX and stuff like that was kind of frowned upon growing up, because it was like, oh, these guys are gonna go vandalize their property and shit like that, but these like outdoor like pump tracks and things like that, like it definitely seems a lot more accepted, and hopefully more cities will like pick up on that and see like the value of that, because you run by a tennis court or a basketball court, half the time those things are freaking empty, and then you look at the money that's dumped in those versus driving by a skate park, and you always see a kid out there bundled up on even a cold day shoveling out snow, or trying to shred that stuff all year long, versus the alternatives. So hopefully more cities will pick up on stuff like that and want to pursue that.
Totally, man. I hear you. I think that's a part of it is like getting involved with, the city parks and rec, and kind of like what you're saying is you kind of got to do it from the inside. And those guys who are on mountain bikes and stuff, I think, yeah, it's all about image and, selling it the way it will be accepted by the community a little bit more. And that's like our foot in the door, so to speak, as BMXers. Because I hear what you're saying. We kind of get a bad rap sometimes, just doing out there wreaking havoc or damaging things. But
I mean, that's always going to be part of it. I mean, seek and
yeah,
destroy, like, that's always
yeah,
going to be part of it, dude. Like, I mean,
yeah.
that,
It.
that's an aspect of it, but
Yeah,
you know, I mean, there's still a different community, outside of that too, like the family orientation and like just the friend group and just the community as a whole, you know.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, but
Totally, man.
it's coming around. I think it's coming around.
Yeah, that'd be dope. I need to. I mean, one of these days it'd be nice to get back up there during the warmer months, and like to bring my bike and come visit. It's been a little while.
But yeah, we got a spot, man. Anytime you want,
Yeah, right on, right on.
spot for you. So we can build some ramps, have some barbecue. Let's go.
Awesome. Yeah, man. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, let me move on to the next question here. So this is pretty much the last question, and then I'll open it up and see if the audience wants to ask any questions. But I guess just to wrap things up, seeing, I guess, because BMX can be, it has multiple facets to it, and I guess in some ways, because I guess it's more than just a physical thing. It's also mental and being artistic. And so thinking about those things, how does that affect you, in those different ways? Because, it's nice to get out there and get a workout and you're like riding, putting a certain amount of miles. But also like I've heard you call it like two-wheel therapy or like things like that, just to like, yeah, you're frustrated, you need to get some of that angst out. And just getting creative, like it's one thing to land a trick, but it's also to, like Mike Gakin doing just like a whip over a jump. He throws that style in there, that artistic value. And I don't know, just from your perspective, riding BMX and, through Michigan Local, what do you think about those areas?
Yeah, I mean, it encompasses all of that. For me, it's been, not only like a riding outlet, like when my parents split, it was not only like my outlet out of family at the time, just to kind of get away from things, but it allowed me that physical, those endorphins, like just to get in the right headspace. And then photography, after we moved out and we lived out in GR together, photography, I tore my ACL, that in '04, and, I just dove right into that, and I was taking a lot of photos, and it was just like documenting at the time, like our experiences in our life. And even with before I had like I got that Minolta, I was just taking like those disposable cameras for a long time and just going out, we'd go out on bikes and just, all day long and just take pictures. And like, I remember the first day Reitzel and I went biking, like after he got his Predator and I had my Diamondback, like we went out and we just posed like in all these different like biking conditions, and like someday we're gonna do that shit, dude. Like it was like just
Yeah.
Smith stall pictures and like feeble ledges and stuff like that, like just posing, taking pictures with like a old like disposable camera. But you know it's just that outlet. And then like drawing, like art class,
Yeah.
in high school and stuff, and after high school, you know, even just drawing with like photos, and then eventually it tied in. Like I remember Eric Nyland like doing soap screen printing in high school, had Jesus Don't Cry, you know, and then years later I was like, I had the opportunity to print for 42 North, and you know, Todd, you know, I was miserable at my job, and Todd had an open spot. I left my job because I was ready to fucking box out the manager there, and I was like, dude, either I'm going to fight or I'm going to find a happy alternative, and ended up leaving and went right to the bike shop. I was like, dude, I'm done with this like negative stuff. And I went right to the bike shop, and Todd, he was like, dude, well, I got this press, and you can be around bikes, and you can show me that you can do something. And it's like, well, I already know I can work. I got good work ethic, you know. I've been knocked down. I can get back up, you know. I already knew that from BMX. So I was like, you know, he gave me an opportunity to get into it, and backed me. And I was able to prove that I could. And then, you know, a few months later, you know, I think it was like 6 months later or something, 9 months later, ended up buying it out and doing it on my own and renting a spot out of the shop. And I mean, those were some of the best years of my life, you know, like just being around BMX, being able to like create art, print art, and like just be involved in like skate and BMX, and just being able to provide for myself too, like the satisfaction of being like self-sufficient, you know, and just it encompassed a lot, you know, through those times. So, and being self-employed too, just being able to road trip when I wanted and go on those trips. And there's times when I was employed that, you know, I had to turn down trips that, you know, I wish I could have gone on now, and you know, I had to say no to. And I wish I would have just said, you know what, life's too short, I'm going on this trip, you know. And kind of wish I would have done that, some of that stuff at that time. But being able to print for myself, and being able to not for myself but for the community, you know, being able to utilize skill sets that I had, and be able to utilize a vehicle that was offered and that I was able to take advantage of, and to be able to, you know, help do something for the community too, and through apparel to help out people, like kind of bring across their vision of like art and what they wanted for their business, and what they wanted to envision for, you know, what they wanted to do for marketing, or, you know, anything like that. So that was good. But BMX, you know, helped incorporate all that stuff, you know. There's so many different avenues that you can take with it, and it's really cool. Like BMX skate, all that.
Yeah, totally, man. I know. I feel like I missed out on part of that when you were at 42 North. I know when I visited early on. I remember seeing you there, and you know, we even collaborated on. You know, I've done some designs as well, and did some printing, and you know, it's just great to see you be able to, like you're saying, you know, be self-sufficient, be autonomous, and be able to just do what you love, you know, for a living. And especially with biking, you know, it's like plugged into all those different areas of, you know, art. You're around your homies, you're, you know, around different people in the community, and I don't know, it's very beneficial. But yeah, well, I guess that's it, man. I'm just gonna throw this out there. If anybody watching right now wants to ask any questions, just throw them in the chat real quick. We'll be on for maybe a couple more minutes, kind of tying things up. And yeah, you know, Andrew, thank you for coming on as Michigan Local. Thank you for, you know, giving some time to reminisce and talk about, you know, what you're doing now, and what you know, memories of the past too. There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot we can go into as far as like memories in the past, and
For sure,
just
man.
reliving old times, you know.
I
But yeah.
a couple pictures. So
Oh, nice.
this
I
is you with the green rails.
Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that. That was by that gas station right there. There's like a gas station. I forgot what it was, but that was like one of the first trails I learned how to 50-50, maybe even, I don't know about grind, but at least stall. You
Yeah.
know, just trying to like bunny hop that high and get onto it. But I almost thought, there were some other rails over by what do you call it? Skips, the real low ones. But
Yeah, there's
I
no
don't think we could grind
that
it.
were alleged.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty cool. That was a fun little spot.
Heck yeah,
Well,
man.
shoot, man. Um, I don't see anything in the chat, but yeah, maybe we'll just, you know, we'll end it here, and you know, definitely thank you for coming through, and you know, for anybody out there watching, I'm also gonna, you know, put this on Instagram and also YouTube. So if you're not able to catch it now, you're able to catch it later. But definitely check Michigan Local out. Are you guys are on Facebook and Instagram, and you have a web page as well, or
Right. See, right now I'm not doing a whole lot with like printing and things like that because like my wife and I moved, and so as far as what I'm doing with Michigan Local as like a brand, I'm not really doing a whole lot, to be honest. Um, but definitely still posting photos and videos, and you know, just trying to keep the good times rolling. And eventually I'll probably pick back up with like printing. Yeah, I still got that silver press that um, you know, I ended up selling to Eric. So after Eric passed, I got that back. So to kind of keep his dream alive, you know, magic is real, and
yeah,
you know, I want to keep printing, probably on a small scale down the road, and just mostly just community, man. I don't really do a whole lot for Instagram or Facebook or like social media. I really don't care about that. I care about meeting up with people in person and having a good time, and you know, creating events and getting people together to have memories, man, because that's what got me into it in the first place. So that's what I want to keep going down the way. That's what I want to keep it about. But
right on.
yeah,
Yeah,
but down the
totally,
road,
man.
I'm going to keep Eric's Press alive, and you know, I'll probably do some shirts down the way. And as far as right now, as far as social media, this is it right here. Um, I have it Facebook, but I'm never on it. So
Yeah.
Instagram's
Well,
probably the best way if somebody wants to keep up with like something somewhat relevant. But I post old,
okay.
post new.
Right on, right on. Well, shoot, man. You know, thank you for coming on then, and you know, giving us some time to talk. Cause yeah, like you're saying, just throwing jams. You know, getting the community to come together, having a good time. That's where it's at. I hoping to attend some jams here in Albuquerque. You know, there may be some around Halloween. We'll see what happens, but it's definitely, you know, it's always a good time to get the community together. So,
Okay,
but
well, keep me posted, man. I would love to come visit too. So
totally, man. It'd be great to have some of you guys come down sometime, take a road trip.
heck yeah, I'd be totally game for that.
Yeah. Right on, brother. Thank you. We're gonna close things out. I'm just gonna quick talk about next time here, but like I said, you know, thank you for coming on. Definitely appreciate it.
Sure, anytime, man. Love you, brother.
Love you too, man. Love you. Have a good one. Peace. So I'm just gonna quick let everybody know. So we just got done with Andrew Sneller, Michigan Local, and next time, same place. We're gonna plan on meeting next Sunday, and we're gonna be meeting with some of the team members from Rezduro, Rezduro, and they're more of a enduro type biking community group from the Navajo Nation, and you're going to come on, talk a little bit about what they're doing, and hopefully, yeah, have a good time. So thank you once again for tuning in. Thank you to Andrew Sneller, Michigan Local. You know, appreciate talking about some old memories from back in the day, adolescence, and yeah, you know, thank you to everybody who tuned in. Like I said, if you didn't catch the live feed, we will be on YouTube at WARPONYBMX 2023, and then I'll also load this up to our Instagram page. So until next week, have a good time. Peace.